maybe while this is the demo, so I know, waiting for the beer, I know.
There is another
Yeah. No, not yet. Yeah. Let's try to give you a bit of energy, and we are preparing a demo. Hopefully it's. Obviously, I let the most difficult part of the presentation to my working group member, Johannes here. So maybe I will start by waiting for the setup. Yeah. I can introduce myself. So I am, as you said, the Eclipse IDE program manager, not product manager, working for the Eclipse Foundation. I will shortly introduce you the Eclipse, as you said, Eclipse IDE working group. And then I will hand over Johannes Matheis. Johannes is working at Vector Informatique, is an eminent working group member of the Eclipse IDE working group. It's also good to know that he's a member of the board of director at Eclipse Foundation. And that's already good. That's good to know. Yeah, and probably, as you know, Vector is one of
now
a member of the CDD. So. So it's a perfect opportunity, and just after the presentation of the toolchain topic, so I thought it was a good transition to Eclipse IDE, because actually, as you will see, Eclipse IDE maybe could give you some inspiration, because it's probably a building block, an ecosystem that has been used to build so many toolchain. So we will see if it give you something that we don't know already. And are we ready to go with the slide?
Yes, you mentioned, Thomas.
Okay. This is this one. Does it work? It work here? Okay. Okay, so basically already presented that slide during the setup. The demo will be about a use case in automotive industry, hopefully. And also giving you some insight of the future of Eclipse IDE. I don't know if you want to add something, Johannes, about your presentation. No. So let's start with IDE itself. So you all know an IDE, an integrated development environment. It's a daily work tool of any developer for coding, debugging, testing, profiling, sometimes deploying. Okay, that's enough. And using, it's of course IDE supports many languages, most of the languages. Behind the scene, you have the language server protocol. And something I would like to mention on this slide is a marketplace. I think it's interesting regarding the discussion you had on because behind this link that you have on the presentation here, you have more than 1,000 extension, plugin. It's a huge set of tooling and things that have been built, extending the basic, the core capabilities of Eclipse IDE. One of the key things behind this is, of course, a question of this ability actually to be extensible. It was mentioned in the previous presentation, and probably this is one of the key requirements to make a larger toolchain. Eclipse IDE exists for more than 20 years, so I won't tell you that everything is alive and fully up to date in the around the 1,000 tools of the marketplace. But this is still a very active community. As you know, you may know, Eclipse IDE is building a new release every quarter, and just had a look at the metrics of the June release 2 days ago, and I was even myself surprised to see that we had 231 contributors to build just the release of June. So between April and June, we had these 231 contributors. So still very impressive when you think of open source and how we can gather so many people working together. And it's still used by million of developers, as it is written on the slide. This slide is here more to stress out that the fact that it's an ecosystem. Over the years, it has included more features like the one presented here, just as an illustration for modeling, for designing systems. So all these projects actually have been developed and are part of this ecosystem. And many applications and services are still being built, sometimes very critical system. I was working in this field before, in the space, aeronautics, healthcare. Many critical systems are not only critical systems, many application services are built with this tool, or design or with this tool. And finally, this is another something good to know on part of the Eclipse IDE ecosystem. This is what is called RPC, Rich Client Platform. You will have, I won't elaborate too much about this. This is one of the demo we will do today. The demo that we will do today is based on this technology. So, but what is important, the important word in this slide here is run. Actually, this is the underlying technology of RCP is used also to run. So it's not only about building and developing and all the verbs I used at the beginning. It's also about running application and services. And okay, and regarding the working group, and just before handing over Johannes, just to explain, this working group has been created in 2021. It's relatively new, if you think of the Eclipse IDE that was, as I said, which is running and available for more than 20 years. This working group is supported by 11 companies here, and their main objective is to make sure that it will stay fully up to date and sustainable for as many years as possible. And we have three main objectives: value, so innovation, and grow. So today, one of our priorities is to continue to grow the number of the community and to grow the number of committers, because we have very important projects, and it's the time to give you the mic.
Yeah. So, thank you, Thomas. And thanks a lot for staying in here, and I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to speak about the Eclipse IDE today with you. And because I was asked, what is the status of the Eclipse IDE? And that's what you have properly present now, and what can be better than representing this with a demo and showcasing this, because if you talk about the IDE, as Tom pointed out, it's an integrated development environment, but it's even more. It's a platform simply for build even products on. Build rich clients products. And what do you see here first? I will go first in the Eclipse IDE because we built our product, which I will showcase. It's not a automotive product, it's a commercial product, it's Prevision. It's built from a vector, and we rely on the Eclipse IDE in building our product. And I will just explain it later on what Prevision is shortly, but it will highlight what you can do with the Eclipse IDE for building products, because I was told focus today is building about tools and tool chains, and the points Daniel pointed out prior in his talk, everything things that we can address here. And now I go over to the famous IDE, another IDE, and I'm really glad that you see one of my first and most loved features, which was built in last year. You see this J, and it's really inspired by Visual Studio Code. I have to admit that we follow some things that we really create here. You have to think about that on this IDE, this was gray for 20 years. So this space was not used at all. And now you can simply put every image in here and guide your users somewhere and things. So we really try to pick up an UI, UX and focus and guide the users and all these things. And as you see what it is, it's our workspace where we use to build Prevision on it. It has 6 million lines of code in it. So, and more than 2,000 plugins, and it can be run and built on all things. So what I will point out on this is that you can run and load a huge amount of data on it. And what it offers to you as a product, and you will see the comparison. So you have some views, you have a menu bar, a toolbar, everything is extensible, and there's this editor page. And you will see it again. And I just switch over to Provision, which is our 10.12 release. We released 10.13 yesterday, so I was not able to prepare it on 10.13, but this is 2 months old. So what you see here is our demo perspective, and you also see here favorites and views and tables and some kind of HTML where you can guide also new users through all these things. And what you see here is basically a model of an electronic architecture. So this tool, Provision, is about modeling an EE architecture, beginning from requirements to software, network design, wiring harness, and topology. So when speaking about a model, we have seen this EMF model. I have to admit that we do not use EMF in our tool, but it can be modeled. So using model technologies inside the IDE going over, you have different kind of tables. You can address data, or mass data, for example. Or for example, when you go over here, you can see it's just a requirements table. You can just add the text. This is just plain an editor, and then it ended back in an HTML file. You click out. It hopefully should be stored. You can also open. What you can here is you can change it to get everything which can be formatted. So it's an integrated LibreOffice in here to edit your code or text, whatever, and all these things. So you can add, you have tables in here what can be modified. And what I really like, because as a human, you always like a picture says more than some text. So we work with a lot of diagrams. So in Provision, we offer about 40 different diagrams. I just want to highlight some few. As we're here in the automotive industry, I think most of you know these pictures about all these things. And everything can be connected together. Because when I go over, going to this zonal, it's just here. You might see this light blue screen. So everything is connected via a model, can access every data in here, and access the geometry of a car as a zonal architecture at this point. You can also combine all these things again. You see here, wiring harness, and then some kind of tables emitted here and can be changed again. And so you have also the possibility to start in a diagram, make a double click, and then you end up in a table and point out every detail and what you can choose. So everything can be combined, which is also in everything the GF editors you just saw. They are also part of one of our projects in here. And if you go further, you say, okay, I have a lot of mass data and different use cases, and I want to have another use case to model the work on this side. We added something like an Explorer, where you can guide your users through different steps, starting from network design, opening all tables, where you have all your bus systems, for example, going to the communication design, topology, and further on. So you can start from simply adding tables, diagrams, combine all these things together and handle all these things, everything on a model-based way. And now turning it over, as some managers, as I am, we really like some traffic light controls, whatever. I'll just execute one of those here. We should change color right now. So you see the bar inside the screen. So I'm really happy now. And by enjoying this, we use also the editor for code for accessing our model. which you can see here. So you can really choose and integrate all the editors. You just have a text editor, a code editor, and formatting. This is plain Java machine inside our product again. So everything really combined from all these things. I think what I want to show or highlight is that you can really build great products based on the Eclipse IDE using the technology which is inside everything, coming really from the parts, the overview of the architecture, and all these things which are there already. So with that, I would like to end the demo and show and highlighting you how this is possible and engage you when starting projects. You can also edit here. So this is, as you see, when it's there, it looks like old, and it's really old. I think this picture is 20 years old, what you can see. But it showcases how this software development kit works. It's a platform runtime as a workspace. I would like to highlight the standard widget toolkit as a name because it's what is relying the connection to the user interface, which is down there. And what I've shown you is the Java development tooling and the plugin development tooling. So it's for the extension mode, and we added several tools. And that's a possibility you have if you start a new project. Just add new tools or a new project. And as Thomas pointed out, we have also already this 3-month release cycle in place. So you can add projects, integrate it on the IDE, and deploy it with our release cycle, as I think about 65 other projects really do currently, deploying all these things on this standard widget toolkit. So far to the architecture. But what I have to say is about the look and feel. And I think you have seen it. We have to admit it. So it's when about talking about the Eclipse IDE, always see you here, it's old, I don't like it. I used it earlier in the days, but I don't like it anymore because it's slow and make me cry, whatever. It's horribly slow, and I just don't like the UI. So there is something that we have to do, and we don't want to keep it in a secret. And I will tell you what we will do in the next minute. So 2 things pointed out here is the performance. And we think that we currently can address performance by local improvements. But what we can't do is address the UI with just local initiatives. So we go on in this here, and I would like to take the next minutes to show what we as a working group do in this year and further on. Just so that you can see where we are going. So this is how the IDE looked in 2023. This is on the right side, you see how it can look, what we expect in the end of 2024. So you see already much cleaner. You see also it's great colored here, like a tool you saw before in the presentation. So it's really guiding you, the user anymore. So it's about focusing you personally on the editor, which is main actor purpose. And one other thing, for instance, you may notice the search dialog on the left-hand side. You even do not know where this search dialog is focusing on. This view, the other editor, I don't know. Now it's pretty clear where it's focusing on, and it's just not blocking you anymore. And this will be part of the September release. And one other thing is, what you have noticed perhaps in Prevision, looking like a Christmas tree with all these little icons in here. On this side, much cleaner already by removing the icons, which are kind of things. So these are things we are really working on currently and will be available this year. One other thing, blurry scaling. You might have seen that it was not sharp, the left side, because HDVI scaling was only done in 100 and 250%. And we will currently work on this. This will be one of the biggest improvements this year. I hope that we can apply it. We have a sharp scaling under Windows with fully HDVI support for the IDE this year. But this won't be enough from our side. We will go further. And what we would like to address is we would like to go for a modern look and feel of the Eclipse IDE with lower maintenance effort, higher configurability. But as said, we have 20 years of history, so we have a lot of adapters. We don't want to lose our adapters. We have technology dependencies, and we need a fitting skill set for us. So this is new. This is the outlook. We are really working on a prototype phase now to evaluate our technologies So what is possible? What have we thought? When we stay at the current status, we have currently a operating system-specific implementation for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. We could have first that we said, okay, remove it completely, go on web-based and go for it. So, but that would have been ended that we just have to rewrite any application at all. And so that's not our solution. So we will be somewhere in this part here. And we said, okay, we can update one of operating system. That's fine with a new version. But we thought perhaps we can go further and think about an operating system agnostic solution, which makes us able to run on different operating systems and enable Eclipse look and feel, and even go further outside on different parts. So what we're currently thinking about is it possible to add a fourth SWT implementation to the existing 3, and we have just started our prototype phase on this. What we expect for this, we would like to get a more modern look and feel, an enabler for more configurability, so that you can build your product and it can look like as your own on all operating systems. We would like to attract, with modern technologies, more people. We would like to reduce the maintenance effort, and then going even for trying what we can do with the web integration to run on different targets at this point. And with that outlook, I would like to end our presentation. Sorry, not yet, because the reason is, sorry, just one last slide. So what I want to point out is, if you start building and thinking about new projects, new tools, what can be the drivers? Eclipse Foundation, of course, is vendor neutral. It's open source, open to contribute. Nobody will hinder you doing anything. It's proven and stabilized. I think for automotive grade software, toolings should be required for 15 years or so. You should choose your technology wisely. Where do you depend on? What can you do with your technology? And there is something that has proven it's available for 20 years now. And it's extensible in different ways, like I showed you before. And with that, I would like to end the presentation and give you a save the date call. We also host a community day, which will be in 10th of July in Waldorf or St. Leon Road at SAP. So feel free to invite it. Stay tuned. We will announce when you can apply for this. And with that, thank you very much. Question, feedback, comments. Welcome. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't quite understand. So instead of SWT, you're moving to Swing?
We currently just really evaluating different parts of technology. So we're thinking about GTK, for example, Swing, or Skia, for example.
Okay.
So we're really evaluating. We will see, because if you have, it's really hard to add another implementation. In the end, it gets the last 10%. So we have different criteria we evaluate, and we work on this currently in prototype phase with several people and several companies together from the working group.
Because I think IntelliJ started with Swing, and you started with SWT because it was too slow. And now it's all right.
Yeah, IntelliJ is still on Swing. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
When do you plan to contribute Provision as an open source project to the Eclipse?
Thanks for the question. I'm not able to talk about, because I'm not in the license modeling and the modeling. But I'm happy to discuss any business model with you guys, to go further this thing. And I can turn around this question. What do you think? How many people work on Prevision?
Sorry?
How many people, developers, doing code?
You already teased that it's a few, but no, 10?
Yeah, you can multiply the 10. So I know the number from Michael, which he taught in the EOS Open Source Summit, for all people which are working on every project currently in SDV. So he probably takes this number. That's a good point. Because if you're talking about Prevision, we can discuss it also, but you have requirements, you have AutoSAR, you have communication design, diagnostics, wiring harness, network design, variant management, product line engineering, authorization, collaboration management, a few topics. So.
Yeah.